Welcome to SpellCast, the Gaming Wizards podcast.
That happens once a millennia nowadays.
No. Just because we haven't done one in like 2 months. Or a month.
Well, yeah, it's been like a month.
Yeah,
maybe like a month
months.
and a half. I don't know.
It was early November, like November 8th.
And it's late December, so like a month and a half.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, so why haven't we done one in such a long time? And why have we gone back to 1 episode per day instead of the usual 2?
Few reasons, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
one, it's the time of year. It's been kind of crazy. Like, I don't know about you, but I know I've been kind of busy, like, pretty much since, like, mid-November-ish, between, like, holiday stuff, Black Friday, more holiday stuff.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been more busy than normal just from having a job at all.
Yeah.
So I don't really have any accurate way to anything to compare it to, because this is the first time literally the first time I've worked a day in my life.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, okay, if this is busy, then the rest of the year should be perfectly okay, or, whatever. But the fact is, a normal day does take up a lot of my otherwise free time, so our recording schedule is a lot more restricted than it used to be.
Yeah.
And that's not looking to change in the immediate future.
Though, so hopefully we'll be able to record a bit more often now. Like, if we keep doing it like we did it today, I think we can, kind of roll out stuff at a constant rate.
Yeah.
But I do think we should stick to
one
episode a day. Just partly it's so it doesn't like over bog down things with like too much coming out at once.
Yeah.
But it also makes sure that we'll always have like a backlog in case a week comes up where we can't record. I mean,
yeah,
it's the first time we've recorded at all in 2
the past
weeks.
2 or 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And it's also a lot easier to keep up with editing, because I don't have to edit like 2 episodes, 4 or 6 episodes a day to make sure 2 go up a day. I can do like when I get home late at night or earlier in the afternoon or whatever. I can edit like 1 episode and just let it upload and be good for the next day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of been annoying trying to find consistent times to record, so that's why we're going to be at 1 episode a day for a while, and SpellCast possibly less often than once a week.
Yeah, I mean, if we can still get them recorded once a week, it'd be nice, but I'm not going to, dedicate to that,
Yeah, it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah.
Just
hopefully,
we'll do
consistently, but
we'll do
see
what we
happens.
can.
Yeah. But, and then another thing that's kind of contributed to schedule issues is I've been kind of working on that project I started more, getting my new channel up that I'm doing, so that's taking up some of my time. Like, honestly, not as much as, it probably will in the future once I actually get stuff rolling, but I'm still spending a lot of time just like, oh, look, a distraction. Fucking YouTube. Oh, cool. Oh, Minecraft. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, oh, I want to do this, but there's everything else. The entire internet.
God, it's so hard to get work done when you're trying to do something that's digital and requires your computer, because there's so many distractions.
Yeah.
And even without that, I've been hanging out with other friends a lot. We've been playing Monster Hunter 3. That game is a time sink and a half. But it's fun.
Well, that's
I recommend it.
It would kind of suck if you were constantly
Join us.
If you were constantly playing a game that wasn't fun.
It was just like you're so like ingrained in it. It's like, no, I already put too much time in. I can't stop now.
I have to continue. People are counting on me.
And that's how you get roped into playing MMOs.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like people who play MMOs, even though they're not fun anymore, just because everybody else is.
There was actually someone in our circle when we were playing Final Fantasy that kind of hit that point where he was getting tired of doing the raiding, but he was one of the tanks, and you have to have a tank.
Yeah,
so he felt kind of obligated, and he still wanted to play with us. He's like, I wanted to play with friends, but this is too much right now, and things fell apart. But whatever, that's another story.
But I'm here because I have to be.
He never had that attitude, but if you talked to him,
you could kind of tell that's what was going on. It's just
he would talk to me about it sometimes. We're just ugh, I'm so tired of it. And it's I know, I get it, I know, because a lot of it was trying to grind the same content that not everyone was geared enough for. Mm-hmm. Just because that's the content that the people who were doing stuff by themselves were at. So it's there's this thing called the Coil of Bahamut, and it's at the time there was 5 stages to it. So we had cleared the first one, we'd cleared the second one, the third one is just a bunch of trash. There's no boss, it's just bullshit. There's not even any gear from it. We grinded a few times to get the 4th one done. We got through that, and we were kind of working on the 5th one. The thing is, you kind of have to grind the previous ones to get gear, because, you get certain drops from certain bosses. And there were a couple in the group who had played solo, because they were, really hardcore into the raiding aspect. So they had the gear already from those earlier ones, but then there were others in our group that didn't do that. They only played when the group played, because we wanted to play with our friends. So we weren't as geared as we needed to be, so we were grinding this turn 5... because that's what the group was doing, even though not everyone was actually ready for it. So we were just doing content we couldn't complete.
Huh. Wow.
So I can understand why he kind of was getting frustrated with it, but unrelated, the group fell apart anyway. Yeah. Unrelated to that. So it happens.
Yeah. I think that's another main reason I don't tend to enjoy games that focus so much on multiplayer, you have to work with other people, because I'm not gonna want to play all the time, and then there's gonna be people who do want to play all the time, so they're gonna out-level me in a day.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, well, okay, you're already killing everything in one shot. That one shot's me, so why am I even here?
Yeah.
And
that's why when I do Borderlands, I have a separate character for everyone I'm playing with.
Yeah.
When we first started out on Borderlands 2, it's okay, I have my sniper, you had your commando. And then, when I went to play solo, I made myself a commando for solo play. And then when I started playing with Corey, I made a siren for that playthrough. Everything was okay, this character's for this.
Yeah, and then I have my level, 54 siren for solo.
Yeah.
And then my commando was still at 30-ish, something like that.
Yeah, and I now have 4 characters that are the 30 to 40 range, and 2 more that are level 10.
Yeah, see, I just have my commando that I started with you, my solo siren, and then I started a solo necromancer who got to level 15. I didn't get very far into the game.
You got far enough to realize anarchy is dumb.
Well, yeah. But to be fair, it doesn't take long to realize that.
Once you can take that ability and you start using it, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I can kill everything. I do like how her voice quips that occasionally pop up, she gets more and more crazy and starts breaking the fourth wall with some of the later ones.
We are not going to spend another entire episode talking about fucking Borderlands.
No, we're not. We got derailed. We were initially talking about stuff that's happening. And there was one thing that we wanted to mention.
It wouldn't be SpellCast if we didn't get derailed.
That is true.
Shadow of the Colossus, what's the deal with that?
Yeah, something we wanted to talk about, but almost missed there.
We didn't give up. We're not quitting. We still have plenty of footage after the stuff we lost.
as you probably know by now, we lost game footage. It kept the audio. We were planning on trying to animate it. Going back to the whole we've been busy thing.
Yeah.
There's been zero progress on that. And, like, part of it is the limited time we have to get together to record also translate to limited time to, like, brainstorm on that.
Do anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, forget brainstorming, actually doing any... Like, we could have the entire thing planned out and just not have the time to sit down and actually draw, like, 12,000 frames of animation.
Yeah. But, you know...
I mean, we could do it, like, a little bit at a time.
But it would take forever.
But The Last Guardian's gonna come out before we finish one episode of our Shadow of the Colossus footage.
But, so... I'm thinking of, like, we were thinking just uploading the audio only, as, like, basically it's the Let's Play podcast. Shadow of the Colossus is what I came up with. I like the title. I wouldn't mind rolling with it. The other option, of course, is to, like, the Colossus that were fought in that recording section.
Just go back and redo them.
Yeah, like, go and redo a file. Problem is there'd be like this weird kind of disconnect because we did do more recording after that.
Yeah.
So there'd be like either we'd have to scrap the stuff that came after that and just like restart from it was the bird, the 5th one.
Yeah.
So we'd restart from there and, you know, have to redo all of it, or like I said, just do the audio. I don't know.
I'm honestly in favor of just doing the audio.
Yeah.
Because I really don't want to just not use footage that we have.
Yeah, like re-record footage that's good. Like if it was just the audio clip, like we didn't have anything after that, I wouldn't be against restarting.
Yeah, but it's like in the middle. Like we have 5 episodes, and then 5 episodes where we lost the video, and then 5 episodes more that are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I am sad because, like, I pictured it in my mind, even as, like, pretty much stick figures. Like, I was like, this would be awesome. But it's just, don't have the time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe one day we could go back and, like,
maybe
do it, but...
Or maybe we'll be popular enough that somebody will do it on their own.
Just one day out of someone's, like... We animated your thing for you, finally. It's like, dude, it's epic. You made what I was thinking of making, but was too busy doing other stuff, like playing Minecraft.
Like doing literally everything that's not that.
It's hard to motivate myself with stuff like that. I don't know about you, but I've always had this issue with, like, focusing on things. That's why I have so many unfinished projects. Like, the only reason Gaming Wizards has gone on as long as it has is because it's a cooperative thing. Like, if it was just me trying to do a Let's Play thing, I would have stopped, like, halfway through Mega Man X. That was our first series. Like, I wouldn't have gotten this far. But...
yeah,
That's actually, I think, going to be my New Year's resolution, is I am not going to give up on Zanshlou gaming. I am going to at least...
do it.
Like, I'm going to at least get a few videos out there and have them on a schedule and see how it goes, you know? Yeah. And hopefully I'll be able to keep doing that and pull some stuff in, but if it ends up falling flat, like, I don't know. We'll see when it actually starts, and then I'll kind of judge from there, like, how long I want to go, like, putting in that effort before, like, I give up if I'm not getting any sort of, like, feedback on it. But, like I said, we'll see where that goes. I think it has potential.
I wouldn't mind, like, the main reason I don't do more, like, individual stuff on my own channel is just because I never have time to myself to record. Like, there's always... like
someone there.
Like, my computer's not in my room. I can't just shut the door, stick a sign on the door, and be like, stay the fuck out of here, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, my computer's, like, in a public area of the house, and there's 3 other people there at any given time, interrupting me, talking to me, or even just coming in and out of the room, dogs running around. It's just... insane trying to ever find time to record. Like, it's amazing that I got 2 Let's Plays done.
Yeah, I have the advantage of being able to not only, like, lock myself in my room, but I can always, like, record later in the night when people are asleep, because everyone tends to be in bed early, and it's quiet pretty much after 9 o'clock. I got everything to myself, so it's nice. But yeah.
I also don't have a particularly good microphone to work with, so there is that.
Yeah. I'm glad I picked up this one that we've been using, because one, it's really nice and has a lot of uses.
Yeah, it's a nice microphone. As you can tell from the lack of ridiculous static and background noise.
Yeah. God. Like, just, like, the first time I got this in and I kind of messed around with it and tested it, I was like,
holy shit, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, like, because going from the Rock Band microphone to this, it's quite a jump in quality.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely a good purchase. Like, even if we never get any, like, real following, this mic was a good purchase in and of, like, just what it allows us to do, whether or not that does anything.
Yeah. It is a significant jump in quality.
Yeah. And then the capture card was a good pickup. I mean, again, a, bigger expense, but I think it was worth it. So,
if you want to follow our complete progression of quality, just watch all of Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, really. Chrono Trigger has, I think...
It's been... Like, everything that's changed did so during Chrono Trigger.
Pretty much the only thing that didn't change is emulator to capture card.
Yeah, because we wouldn't have been able to transfer the save file anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, we started with live stream, and then went to OBS...
And then got the better mic.
We used the Rock Band microphone, and then we got this good mic.
Yeah.
And everything comes together in the last, like, half of the series.
I think another good way to, like, follow our progression is to watch the Mega Man X games. Like, watch, like, first episode of X, first episode of X2, first episode of X3, X4, X... Like, I think that might be a good way to do it as well.
Yeah. And you can definitely tell which ones we have the most experience with.
Oh, yeah, no, like, the first X, we had some issues here and there. I mean, I fought, what was it, like 3 or 4 of the bosses with the Buster, because we didn't remember anyone's weakness. Yeah. X2, you can tell we had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
We got wrecked.
Like, we have to fight this guy.
It took us an hour to beat our first Robot Master.
It did, didn't it?
Damn. Yep. Like...
And that was even...
I beat X4 in that amount of time.
Yeah.
And you can tell I kind of spent my life playing X4.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to do this one, then 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 Sigma, and we win.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually worried that, like, I'd get stuck at Sigma, because... as I mentioned in that playthrough, I'd never beaten him with X. Heck, I'd never beaten him at all until, like, I think earlier last year, like, before we started our recording, we did a playthrough of X4 previously, where we played to the end as X, gave up on Sigma. I had another file where I was near the end as 0, and we played that file to the end, and I was able to beat Sigma with 0. But...
Was that before or after we played FF6?
Before 6. Yeah, it was definitely before FF6, because FF6 was where we were like, why aren't we recording?
That's right.
We were like 3 hours in. There was something, Yarhar McTits. And we were like, why aren't we recording this?
Like, why the fuck are we not recording this? Well, 1, we don't have a good mic. 2, we don't have a capture card.
Yeah, there are a lot of reasons.
3, we don't even have a YouTube channel at this point.
Yeah. But,
And 4, nobody would watch us if we did.
I mean, whatever.
As we've proven to this day.
Yeah. whether or not people watch this, it's fun to be able to play through these games. Like, there's a lot of games that either, like, you've played, but I haven't, so, like, you know, you get to share that experience with me. There's games I've played, but you haven't, so I can share those experiences with you.
Yeah.
There's games we've both played that we just both love, Kirby 64.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's stuff neither of us have played. It's like, hey, we should play this.
Yeah, this looks fun. We should give it a shot.
I look forward to Chrono Cross.
Me too.
So...
I've played a little bit of it. The combat system is interesting. Like, you have, like, the elemental magic and stuff, like in Chrono Trigger, but it's, like, as you use certain spells, that element, like, gets stronger. Like, it stacks, like, 3 times. But I think that also applies to enemies, too. So, like, if you use a lot of fire spells, then your fire spells get stronger, but so do the enemies if they have fire. I think is how it works.
Huh.
Like, there's a tutorial battle that explains it. I don't remember how it exactly works, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
I've noticed, like, a lot of the games that I want to get to are RPGs.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, there's so many good ones where it's like, I haven't played this in a long time, or I've never played it, and I want to experience them. Like, Chrono Cross, neither of us played, I want to experience. Lunar... I don't think you've played Lunar.
No.
I didn't even know about it until I was watching a video.
I know the title of the game, and that is the extent of my experience with it.
Yeah. I was watching a video that we had in the shop, and they were talking about our like old RPGs or something, and they were talking about that, and I was like, that looks pretty cool. Like, I like some of the stuff they're going on with the story, and it's like, we have a copy. It's like a fancy collector's edition. Fuck.
Well, I guess that's mine now.
Yeah, no, I definitely was like, all right, I'll cave. So, like, I want to play that because it'll be cool. And then there's a lot of Final Fantasy games I want to play. Like, I wouldn't mind trying to play through 7 again because I've always wanted to do another playthrough of 7. I just usually give up somewhere before the end of Disc 1. Like, I hit a point where I'm just like, I'll go play something else.
Yeah.
It's hard to replay through that game, but I feel like if we were doing it
if we were doing a Let's Play,
we'd
feel obligated to do it, even if we lost interest. Like,
even then, like, just the experience of us playing together.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it helps drive me. Like, Chrono Trigger I started previously because I picked up the DS version.
Yeah.
And I didn't get very far. Like, I got Robo. That was about as far as I got.
Oh.
Like, went to the future the first time.
And that was it?
That was it. Like, and it was just, part of it is I get distracted from handheld games. It's hard for me to focus on them because it's like, oh, hey, look, this thing. That's not tiny little screen I have to hold. But, yeah. There's, you know, like Final Fantasy VIII, which is probably one of my favorite Final Fantasies. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's just because I love the card game so much. I'm not gonna lie. I played a lot of that card game. But I do think it has, like, a good story to it, and there's, like, a lot of little details in it that you don't really pick up on unless you're, like, really looking for them.
Huh.
Like, there was an analysis thing I came across, because Final Fantasy VIII does get some flack for having, like, a mediocre story, but when you dig into, like, all these little details, it's kind of interesting. Like, there was a post I was reading, it was about the relation between Squall and Riona, and how, like, they kind of, like, they're polar opposites, but they start to, like, understand the other one's point of view and start thinking like the other one.
Huh.
Like, it's really interesting because, like, it puts the whole game in a different perspective, and you see how these characters evolve, like, with each other because of each other. So it really, like, kind of like, they actually are, like, a really well-written, like, pairing in gaming. It's not super obvious unless you're really looking for it.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That it's handled that way and not, like forced.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at them. They love each other because we said so.
Yeah, and, like, it's weird because last time I replayed through the game, like, I don't remember a lot of story. It's been a long time since I played through it, but, like, last time I was replaying through it, didn't get too far in, but it's like, okay, Rihanna had a thing for Cypher, which is like Squall's rival. I forget how they get together. I don't remember like where like things start changing there, but like I know they do end up spending a lot of time together, being that like he's hired by her like rebel group or whatever. It's weird. It's a lot of stuff in that game for sure.
I guess I wouldn't mind getting to FF8 eventually.
Yeah.
Like, I borrowed it from you a long ass time ago, and I think I got through the first disc, and then just like kind of gave up on it. I was like, you just take it back. Yeah. I'm not gonna get any further than this. Just
part of why 8 turns off a lot of people is the draw system for the magic. Yeah. I love it personally because it means instead of grinding like 100 battles to get good stats, I can go into one battle, just sit there for like 20 minutes drawing magic off of the one enemy so I have a full stock of that magic on everyone, and then I'm good. Like, I just keep that. I never really use magic in the game. I just use the magic that you get for the stat boost, since you junction it to all your abilities to increase those abilities. Mm-hmm. So it's like, alright, I find the best magic you can junction to health, usually Curaga for like the earlier stuff, some form of cure, and it's just like, oh, okay, cool, I have health. Find something good for strength, and then try to divvy up my summons in a way that I can have all the abilities like covered with all the characters. So I liked the system. I thought it was cool, but I can understand why people don't like it.
Yeah. I don't even think it was that made me give up on it. I don't know.
It's harder to get into, I think.
Yeah.
But like I said, my favorite part of the game is the card game.
Yeah, and I think I've mentioned before that I do have a hard time like sitting still and just playing an RPG.
Yeah.
Just
I think I let you borrow Tactics at one point, and you maybe got like 2 missions in.
Yeah. That's probably the one I lasted the least in.
I think you would really like the story to Tactics, because it has a really good story, and I would like to play it at some point, but God, is it is a really time-consuming game. Like, I make it more tedious than it needs to be, because I love the metagaming you can do with it. With how, like, oh, when you level up, your stats increase based on your class. It also works if you happen to level down. So if you purposely level down your characters by having them walk back and forth on a trap as, like, a class with terrible stats, and then re-raise them as a class with good stats, you end up with a net increase.
So you just...
You can meta the hell out of that. Like, Bard has awful stats. You level down as Bard. Re-level up as Ninja. Suddenly you have twice as much speed.
Wow.
So eventually you just end up with characters that are just, like, super busted. Like, oh, hey, I start a battle. Oh, hey, I wipe the field.
Wow.
I have a character that takes, like, 4 turns before anyone else takes a turn. Because he has that much speed.
Wow.
Yeah.
That seems a little broken.
Yeah, it might be. Just maybe. Just a tad. But that's what I like about that game is, like, yeah, you can just play through it, or you can really get into it. Like, I always wanted to do the, like, co-op missions, and I've gotten to do a couple of them more recently, because I've met some people that actually have the game as well for the PSP, but, like, initially I was like, I really want to do these co-op missions, but no one else I know even has a PSP. It's kind of sad the PSP didn't do a bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't do bad by any means. I mean, Sony's still making handhelds.
Yeah.
But
they're making them better, like, you know, a game company should when they release a new console. It's like, it's not just the same thing, it's better. And it would be nice if the better version wasn't a completely new console. Like, you know...
Yeah.
So if you want to play the sequel to this one game, you have to buy a whole new fucking console.
Yeah. Well, like, my issue with that is, like, using the PlayStation handhelds as an example. First of all, yes, UMDs are a terrible format that was like their worst possible choice of format for the PSP because like the cases break real easily.
Yeah.
And, it's just bad.
They looked cool, though.
They did. But, like, the Vita, their new handheld, it has little cartridges, which is really cool. The downside, you can't play any of the old stuff on the new system.
Yeah.
Like, going from, like, Game Boy Advance to DS, you lose compatibility. Okay. But going from DS to 3DS, you can still play all the old DS stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's still the same style cartridge, and I like that. Like, I liked how the Game Boy Advance, you could play Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance on it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until the DS to where you lost some format, and, you know, it worked there, though, because, like, there was kind of this transition period where it's like, it plays Game Boy Advance stuff, not any of the older stuff, but then there was, like, the newer versions, like the DSi, that didn't have the Game Boy Advance slot anymore. And
chances are, if you want to play something old, you still have the original console for that anyway.
Yeah. Heck, I still have my Game Boy Color, technically.
I never had a Game Boy Color. Like, my first handheld Nintendo was the original Game Boy Advance, the, like, weird little shape thing.
Yeah, the little...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got an SP, then a DS, and then finally a 3DS. As they're about to release, like, a new DS.
Yeah, a
with
new 3DS.
New format, too. It's like, fucking really?
I hate how the new one's literally called New 3DS.
Yeah, well...
And there's, like, two changes. There's, like, extra buttons, and there's, like, a little C-stick.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's going to be, like, a couple games that are going to require those and be exclusive to the new 3DS.
Ugh!
Fucking
Oh,
Nintendo.
look! It's that one game that you really, really wanted to play your entire life. Oh, looks like you'll have to buy a new console.
I didn't read it, but I remember like coming across an article that was mentioning how Nintendo's already like getting ready to announce their new console.
Like new
console. Like the new Wii U.
If they call it that, I'm going to murder somebody.
I think I saw an article about that. I'm not 100% sure on it. Like, it may have just been, like, you know, random internet rumors.
Yeah.
Like the rumors that they're not going to reprint, like, the first wave of Amiibos, which would be dumb. That's printing money for them, but, you know. Also the rumors that they're not reprinting the Game Boy, not the Game Boy, the GameCube adapters for the Wii U.
Oh, yeah?
There's people who believe that are willing to pay the $100 people are putting them online for, and it's like, give it a couple months, these are going to be everywhere again for $20, and you'll have wasted $80.
Yay, rumors on the internet.
Yeah.
And people believing fucking everything.
Heck, there was a post I came across today. Someone posted it on the, like, Smash Brothers page for, like, all the people that go to the tournaments. Someone found an article where if you go to Best Buy and go to, like, their customer service and, like, ask them, like, check your, like, stock inventory, see if you have this item in the warehouse. If they have one there, you can get it, like, shipped or in-store pickup, usually within, like, a couple days or, like, a couple weeks. And you can get one for the fucking regular store price of $20 instead of paying $100 online for it.
Wow.
And it's like, there you go. But you actually have to go to the store.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Going out in public. Not buying everything online.
But it's so much easier to buy everything online.
That's why I do most of my shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I really hope that, like, the Amiibos that are really hard to find right now do get, like, a really just massive print run and are just super common and found everywhere. Mostly, like, partially to, you know, as a punch in the face to those who, like, were dumb enough to buy them at those prices. And partially so I can actually get one. Like, I want to get all the Amiibos just for the fact that they're cool little figurines.
Yeah.
Like, their function aside, I think they're cool. the function's like an added bonus that actually happens to be really in depth and kind of interesting. But
it's like, first of all, I get a little figurine. Second of all, it actually does things.
Yeah. When you think about it, like, my only worry is, like, if they do rerun them, the people who are, like, selling these are just gonna buy them all up as quickly as, like, they'll know the day they're in the store and they'll just be there at, like, the crack of dawn, like, when the store opens, and just buy every single one of them. And I hate those people. I understand wanting to make money, but you're ruining it for
Sell
those...
your own fucking product.
Yeah, like, they're buying it just to turn a profit, and I get it. It's an easy way to make money, but, like, that's kind of a punch in the face to the people who actually want to enjoy these. Like, think of, like, kids who are, like, they just want their, for whatever reason, say, like, their favorite character is Marth. And they're just, like, they want to have the Marth amiibo because it's his favorite character, but the parents can't get it for their kid because they can't find one anywhere for under $50, and that's ridiculous.
Because of assholes being like, oh, looks like I bought all of them.
Yeah. That's so like...
let's teach your kids a lesson about supply and demand. I have all the supply, I make the demands.
Yeah, basically. Oh, it's so messed up. I love-hate it. It's... A similar thing actually happened with Magic the Gathering stuff. Because there was the Commander set, which is like... It's a for-fun variant. But there was one card in one of the decks, because technically the cards are legal in one of the, like, competitive formats. And there was a card in one of the sets that people were predicting was going to completely break the format. And it was a card that said, has protection from target player. So basically the way protection works is it can't be targeted by or dealt damage by a source of that whatever. So, say a card has protection from green. If a green creature can't block it, a green spell can't target it. If it blocks a green creature, the green creature doesn't do damage to it, even though it does damage to that. By having protection from target player, it means that player can't do anything about that creature.
Wow.
So people were expecting this to completely break the format and be, like, really good. This card alone was going for a bunch of money. That deck, which normally the deck was like $30, that deck was going for like $100. And then it ended up not breaking the format, and no one really cared about the card. Like, it ended up just being like a worthless card in the end, and it's like...
God damn it, I bought every single one of these packs expecting them to shoot through the roof, and now nobody fucking wants it. Well, maybe you should have been a colossal dick about it.
I managed to find, like, a cheaper one for, like, $45 to get the deck, because I just wanted the deck. And then I found another one at the store for the regular $30, so I ended up picking up both, because, like, I bought one online when I found it, and I was like, oh, sweet. And then I saw one at the store, I was like, I already got this, but I do like a lot of the cards in the deck, and I can modify it, and still have one that's in its, like, original state, so I can leave that one there for balance purposes. So, fuck it. I'll buy another one.
Nice.
But, yeah. Collectibles, man. They go
Never
nuts.
got into it.
Never get into anything that can be collectible. It'll just ruin you.
Yeah. I honestly never cared about actually collecting anything, really.
Yeah.
Like, for the purpose of it being valuable. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I still have, like, a stack of Pokemon cards that I keep pretty much for the nostalgic value. Like,
yeah.
I think I may have a couple that are worth a few bucks.
I have, like, 2 binders. One is, like, all my rares that are left over, and one is, like, the cards I wanted to keep for, like, a personal collection. Like, I have, like, one of almost all the legendaries up to the 3rd generation. I have every single starter up to the 3rd generation.
Nice.
You know, I have all the EV cards, bunch of Growliths and Arcanines, Vulpixes and Ninetales. I like fire types.
I don't even know what all I have. I just have, like, a big old...
But yeah. I have like the collection binder, and these are my rares that were left over from when I got rid of most of my collection.
Yeah. See, I know specifically I have holographic Steelix and the Mew card from the movie.
Yeah.
The really shiny...
The ancient Mew.
Yeah.
Apparently, it actually, like... There's actually, like, a translation for it.
Yeah.
And, like, it has, like, this really shitty attack that's, like, 2 psychic mana and does 10 damage.
Yeah. Well...
Like, that's it.
What do you expect from a Pokemon that lived thousands of years ago? It wouldn't have... It was, like, the first Pokemon or something like that, so... It wouldn't have been evolved to fight anything.
Right?
I mean, that's like expecting... Like, going back in time and finding, like, an ancient caveman and wondering why it can't operate a space shuttle.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's a good way of looking at it. But yeah, I've never really collected stuff specifically for value. I usually just find stuff where it's like, hey, that's cool, I want to collect it, as, like, looking around my room is evident. I have, like, dragons lining the walls. I'm starting to collect figures, and that is dangerous because those start getting expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get all the RWBY ones, and I kind of want to get 2 of them so I can have one, like, out of the box and keep one in box. So, like, what I would do is set them up to where, like, I had the boxes and then, like, the out-of-box one on top of the in-box one. And I'd have them, like, in their teams. So, like, Team RWBY. And then they're working on releasing the Team Juniper ones now. You can get Jean. I can't wait for them to release Nora. I want to know what her figuring is. She's my favorite. Because Grenade Hammer.
So, how much manipulation did it take to get all the team names to spell something?
I feel like at the start of the school year, the headmaster, like, looks at the list of students and is like,
"What?
All right, how can I rig this?" I mean,
it's like, damn, there's no one whose name starts with a U. I guess we can kind of stretch it with a W. RWBY. Yeah, I guess that kind of works. All right, you're Team RWBY.
just somehow manages to rig everything, like, even where they, like, land when they get launched and how their teams get set up.
It would be even more amazing if, like, all the team names were like a phrase or like a sentence.
God. Just combine them all and it's like a paragraph. And it's just all the team names.
It's like a complete, like, spoiler of how the series ends.
Well, so far we have 4 teams that we, like, know their names. There's RWBY, Juniper, Cardinal, and Coffee. Which is CFVY.
Oh.
Cuff-V. Cuff-V. It's kind of stretching it a little.
A little, yeah.
Just a little. I look forward to seeing more of that team, though, because, I mean, they show up for all of, like, a couple minutes in the, like, final fight scene of Season 2. And, like, I like how that scene starts out, and it's, like, RWBY and Team Juniper, and, like, you know, they're fighting this stuff, and they're doing alright. And then, like, Team Coffee shows up, and they just wreck everything, like, not even breaking a sweat. They're just like, shikadoosh! And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. They're second years, they'd be more experienced. Yeah, it makes sense that they'd just kick twice as much ass, and just kill everything. I mean...
So, why aren't these guys fighting the bad guys? Like, all the time?
Because they're too busy doing school stuff, like good children, and not running off and doing sketchy shit. Like Yang just kind of going into bars and threatening, like, mob leaders.
Is that a thing that happens?
Do you remember her trailer?
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
He does show up again in Season 2. Like, she's like, I know a guy, let's go talk to him, he'll give me information. And she just kind of shows up and, like, sup, I need info.
Oh god, please don't kill me. God damn it.
I still... God, that reminds me. I still need to watch season 12 of Red vs. Blue.
I think I still need to watch season 11.
Freckles?
Maybe I don't. I don't know.
Season 11 is where they introduce Freckles.
Okay, yeah, so then I do need to see that. I've seen, like, the first, like, couple episodes of season 12 then.
Okay.
Like, there were... I remember some... I don't remember where I stopped.
Yeah. I remember, like, when they announced season 11, I started watching it as it was coming out, and I watched the first, like, 5 or so, and then I hit a point where I was just like, I'll wait for the DVD. Just watch it as a movie. It's the best way.
That's happened with me with, like, the last, like, 3 or 4 seasons.
Well, shit,
like,
I stopped following Red vs. Blue until season 9. Like, I missed everything from, like, 5 to 9, and had to just watch that all, like, marathon it, catch up.
Yeah.
It was convenient, though, because I was able to get the, like, 6, 7, 8, like, collection all in one.
Yeah. I just remember watching up until, like, what at the time was the last season.
Yeah.
Like, one of the finales. And then just not hearing anything about it for the next several years. And then suddenly, like, I randomly, like, looked it up on Wikipedia or something like that, and I was like, oh, there's more. Wait, there's more?
Wait.
Oh, Halo 3. Okay, that makes sense. And then there's, like, this whole new storyline that they're going off on. It's like, oh, maybe I should get caught up on this.
Yeah, like... Season 1 was just
doing,
funny.
Like, all the freelancer and...
Season 2 and 3 were kind of like, They were doing some plot stuff, kind of... It was still kind of, like,
random,
undirected. And
yeah.
The jokes were, like, hit and miss, I feel. But
yeah.
Season 4 and 5 kind of picked it up a little more. And then, like, you hit Season 6.
Like,
and that's where it just goes full on into this whole, like, freelancer concept.
Yeah.
And then you get 9 and 10 where they really delve, like, into the past and everything. It's like, my mind.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
It all makes sense now.
This started out as, like, 5-minute long jokes.
5-minute long,
like, random shit.
Like, cock jokes.
Pretty much, yeah. And now it's like, wow, this is a surprisingly in-depth story with very interesting characters. And I want to know where it goes from here.
Yeah, there's actually a few of the characters where it's like, I wish I got to see more of this character. Because they don't have a lot of moments. But, yeah. It's pretty solid.
I like how the story just ends up explaining, like, all the weird shit that happens.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my god, it all makes sense. Oh my god, it all makes sense. What the fuck?
Yeah, like, I think the only, like, plot hole is the time travel that happens.
Yeah,
all the time travel stuff that happens between, like, seasons, like, 2 through 4 never really gets explained. It's just kind of swept under the rug as, like, this didn't happen.
That didn't happen. That was,
This happened, but this didn't actually happen. Like, that's the only thing that kind of is like, wait, but what about...
But wasn't, like, most of it supposed to be, like, a simulation or something for...
It's supposed to be, but it doesn't actually explain anything. Because, like, there's the part where Church starts traveling through time, and, like, he causes his own death. And, like, you can't really explain that with it's a simulation for the freelancers.
What the fuck kind of simulations are you people running?
Like,
I mean, I understand there's being prepared for a variety of possible situations, and then there's time travel, like, okay?
I don't know. Maybe somewhere out there someone can explain all that and make perfect sense of it.
I guarantee you there's somebody out there who's got, like,
They've like rewatched every
They have
single
like
season.
conspiracy theory walls and bulletin boards just like, okay, if we assume that this episode is completely canon and maybe this character and that character did a thing and that caused this to happen, and it's just like fucking like, okay,
somewhere out there. To which I say, I mean, good job. I'll probably never even come across your
No.
madness.
It all makes sense. If you follow this green thumbtack along the blue thread over to the purple thumbtack, it explains everything. It's like, there are 8 different colors of thumbtacks and 12 different colors of string here.
Hey, it makes sense to them, and, you know, that's what matters. As long as they feel like what they're doing is important, that's good enough.
It's tremendously important. Do you know anything about fandoms? People will debate into the ground everything.
It's true. Yeah. Fandoms are crazy.
Crazy awesome. And crazy creepy sometimes.
Sometimes. I feel
Actually,
like
they're pretty much every kind of crazy you can think of.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like fandoms are in a constant state of, like, 50% of this is acceptable in normal society. 50% of this you keep to yourself. At all times.
And then there's, like, that 0.1% where it's just like, why?
Like I said, you keep that to yourself.
But no, that just goes, like, they don't keep it to themselves. Like, these are the people who draw porn of literally everything, even the stuff that nobody really wants to see.
And yet someone does.
I'm honestly of the opinion that nobody actually enjoys some of the stuff that I've seen because there's just no possible way.
The one that always comes to my mind was, it was one of the, like, featured pics, because a lot of those are funny. It was one of the featured pics from Rule 34 website, and it was Cheezosaurus Rex.
Oh, God. I think you showed me that, actually.
Like, that's forever burned into my mind. I can never unsee it. But it gives a whole new meaning to when the cheese starts flowing, Kraft gets your noodle going. Though I think the funniest one that was in their, like, featured section was do a barrel roll.
Oh, yeah.
And it was roll for Mega Man, like, doing a barrel, and there was, like, a 9,000 on the barrel, so she was over 9,000. It was just all these memes together in one, and I was like, that's funny.
But, yeah, that's, like, the thing. It's funny. To an extent.
Yeah, no,
just,
it
like,
does hit a point where it's like, first this was funny, now you're getting creepy.
I mean, and it's weird how that overlaps, because it's funny because somebody was creepy enough to draw this. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
This is somebody asking themselves, how far can I go before I'm worried about myself?
I feel like that's got to be a question that comes through a lot of people's minds when they draw stuff like that. I don't know, maybe they just never question it. But I feel like some of them have to.
Well,
some of them have to hit that point where they're like, what am I doing?
I honestly feel like everybody who draws porn has to ask themselves that. Like there's drawing, like, nudity, and then there's drawing porn.
Yeah, no, it's definitely two different things.
Yeah, and it's the people who draw porn where it's just like, okay, why are you doing this? And if anybody can honestly say, you know, I've never thought about it. Why am I doing this? It's just like, there may be something wrong with you.
You may want to seek some help. I'm not judging you, but I'm just saying
you might want to consider some things before you draw something you're going to regret.
Before you draw something you regret, think about your future.
Like, oh, I've thought about my future. That's why I'm doing it.
Actually,
there's good money in this kind of art.
speaking of, think about your future before you do that. People who get some of those tattoos, those ones that you never want to, like, why? I don't remember where I found it. Somehow came across, like, something that was about bad tattoos, but someone had, it was Kakashi from Naruto, and he just had this, like, huge veiny dick.
Okay.
Just
and this was
sticking out. It was a tattoo. Like, on someone's, like, arm.
Oh.
Like, just, boom. And it's like, why? You have to live with that for the rest of your life.
That's not something you do. Like, come up with any excuse you want. You don't do that.
I don't care if you lost a bet. It's not worth it. Be the chicken shit. Don't own up to it.
Seriously, like, I would rather be called a coward than walk around with a huge veiny dick tattooed on my arm. Like, okay, I'm not the... Do you see any huge veiny dicks tattooed on my arms? No, you know why? Because I'm not a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, I don't... Yeah, some of the tattoos people get. There was a vacation that we went on where we ended up watching, like, every night there was this, like, marathon of this, like, show. It's like this group of people that do tattoo cover-ups, so, like... You know, someone has just an awful tattoo, and then, like, they do something, like, huge and elaborate over it so that you can't see the one underneath. And, one, it's really cool art. Two, you get to hear the, like, asinine stories of why these people have these terrible tattoos. And some of the shit people have is just like, really?
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
Really. I mean... You have this on your arm.
Yeah. I can only imagine how much the, like, tattoos they get for the cover-ups cost, though. Because, like, shit, that shit's fucking fancy. Like, it'd be like the equivalent of getting, like, that dragon poster tattooed on your arm. Wow. Like, it's pretty crazy.
The dragon poster that nobody can see right now.
Yeah. That's more for you.
Yeah.
Everyone else can just, you know, picture some epic dragon poster. Don't bother putting up a picture. They don't need to know.
It's like a big green dragon. It kind of looks a little bit like Ridley. And it's on like a big snowy mountain. Does. And there's like a big canyon, and it's on one side of the canyon. And I think there's other people.
You're putting in too much details. You're not leaving enough to imagination. It's a big green dragon. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay, it's a big green dragon.
I mean, they could be picturing something epic. They could be picturing Green Ridley. They could be picturing Barney. I mean, fuck. It's up to them.
Barney's a dinosaur.
Barney with wings, then. And green.
There are dinosaurs that had wings.
Yeah, but he's like a T-Rex with wings. It's different, okay? It's different.
If you say so.
I do say so. It's not like a pterodactyl.
Yeah.
See? It's different.
I think we're probably done here.
Oh yeah, no, we've gone way out there. I don't know how we got here. I don't want to know. We'll figure it out.
Let's see.
Later.
We were talking. Going back, we went from tattoos. No, we went from that dragon poster to tattoos to porn and the Rule 34 stuff. And I think we got there from talking about fandom. How did we get on fandom?
Red versus Blue.
Yeah, and now
which came
like,
from RWBY,
the plot analysis,
which came from collecting, which came from Amiibos.
Yeah.
Which, fuck. Handhelds? We're getting there.
Yeah,
point
there were conversations about
point is,
RPGs.
This did start as video games.
Yeah. I mean, technically, we didn't really get away from video games. I mean,
that's true.
A lot of the stuff we said could apply to video game characters.
That is true. That is true.
Unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on what you're into.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what? No, that's awful. They're 12.
And again, I revisit the drawing something you'll regret thing. Because there are some places where that kind of art of those kinds of characters could be considered that kind of illegal.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. I've been some dark places. Looking for unrelated things, surprisingly. I've been some dark places without meaning to.
I can just say I've been to 4chan. That pretty much covers all the bases.
Yeah. So I don't go to 4chan. I go on Google.
Well,
I don't bother
say
turning
I go there. I
search
said
on.
I've been there.
Oh, it's fair. Yeah. I just go to Google. I never turn on safe search. I just search stuff up sometimes. It's like, oh, hey, I'm gonna go look up Pokemon stuff. And every once in a while there's like a picture off to the side. It's like, oh, God.
You can't search for anything without finding porn.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
God. I remember, like... I don't remember why I did it, but, like, I searched Fluttershy on Google Images and Bing Images. And... yeah. The differences were interesting. Like, Google Image, like, it brings up other suggestions, and it's like, cute Fluttershy stare, and, normal stuff.
Yeah.
And then Bing is like, Fluttershy porn, sexy Fluttershy. It's like, really?
I feel like people use Bing to search
For
up
porn.
that kind of stuff because they know that it'll show up in their Google history, and they don't want people, because most people go to Google right away, so they don't want people finding that.
That honestly makes sense.
I think that's a good theory. That might be why.
Or you could just use a browser that has private browsing, like all of them now do.
Yeah, or you could just set it not to record history. I mean, fuck. That's what I do.
Chrome has incognito mode.
Yeah.
Which is basically porn mode, but there are legitimate other uses for it.
Yeah, Firefox has something like that,
yeah,
too.
Firefox has private browsing. I think Internet Explorer has something like that now, too.
Oh, yeah, Internet Explorer is a thing.
Nobody uses Internet Explorer. Even though it's, like, supposedly just as secure as anything else. Like, if not more so, I don't know.
I think the bigger issue with Internet Explorer is that it runs slower than most other browsers.
Possibly. Like, I don't know. I think the main reason people don't want to use it is because it's, like, the default thing. And if you use the default anything on your computer, you are not qualified to use a computer. You're like an old person.
Well, I mean, that's true.
Generally, yeah. I think that's, like...
I don't know. I do think that, like, there's a noticeable, like, speed difference on Explorer versus other browsers.
I haven't used it enough recently to know for sure, but yeah.
I've pretty much only used it when having to, like, reset up computers.
Mm-hmm. It's the world's best application for downloading Firefox. Basically. Or Chrome. Or both. Some people use different browsers for different things. I don't know.
Yeah. I have both now. Because there was a website that I was, like, trying to do something on, but, like, it doesn't work in Firefox, so I was like, fuck it, I'll go download Chrome.
Yeah.
So I can go do this thing, so I can mess with it.
Yeah. I started using Chrome because Firefox was just, like, devouring my computer's memory for some reason.
Yeah, no, Firefox still does that.
It still does? Okay, good to know.
Yeah, no, they have not fixed the fact that Firefox is just like, hey, your memory, it's mine now. I can show you.
Okay, Firefox, I need that memory so Photoshop can do literally anything it does. Like, no, this is mine. Okay, you read and interpret HTML. Photoshop is a complex graphic design program.
Mine.
Photoshop needs that memory. No, it's mine. You can't have it.
It's like the spoiled rich kid.
Yeah.
But I want it. It's mine.
But I did quickly discover quite a few features of Chrome that I like. Like the fact that it saves all your bookmarks, like, to your Google account. So whenever I, like, want to back up anything, I don't even have to. Just, if I install Chrome, I can log into my Google account and all my bookmarks will be back. Which is nice. Because I used to... Backing up my bookmarks for Firefox used to be a big thing. And then there was a time I accidentally deleted the save file for that and couldn't get it back, and yeah.
The only time I've ever had to back my stuff up was when I got a new computer and did it so I could transfer everything to the new computer. I mean, I probably should back up stuff more often, but I don't.
Unquestionably, you should.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a terabyte hard drive to work with. It's, well, for you, I don't know what the billion pictures you have of, like, everything ever on the internet.
For me, it's more games and videos that take up all my memory.
Mm-hmm.
I have almost 320, I think, games on Steam now. And most of them are installed. So if I ever just want to be like, I want to play this game, I can launch it.
See, I only install games that I have immediate plans on playing, or expect to want to play in the near future. Like,
yeah,
you know,
there's a couple stuff that I uninstall because it's like I'm never gonna play this again. But for the most part, I leave most things installed. I actually ended up setting up a secondary Steam library on my external drive because I have a 3 terabyte external. So I install everything on there now. Because my main drive is kind of close to full.
Yeah, mine's getting to be there. Like, I think I have a thing on my desktop that tells me, like, how much space is available on my main drive. And it's hovering around 76% full at any given time.
Yeah.
And it gets a little bit more full because, like, I delete, like... I render all my videos to, like, the same folder, and then after a while I'll move them over to one of my external hard drives just to get them off there, and delete the local copies and clear the recycle bin, and it's still not doing much to bring that down. So I think sometime in the next year or so my hard drive will be completely full of whatever it's getting full of.
Everything.
Because I've been having Steam download my games to my other, like, internal drive.
Yeah.
So that's helping, but it's still inevitably going to get full.
The curse that is Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get on another tangent...
We were done, like, 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Before we get on another tangent, let's go ahead and cut this here and...
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll try to have another episode next week. But if not, just listen to the beginning of this podcast again where we explain why we won't.
Go back, re-listen to the whole thing, like, comment, and...
We've been busy, okay? Jeez.